Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to the Grid Investor Network Reston Meetup. My name is Mark Beckett. I am with the Grid Investor Network here. I am without this evening my partner in crime, Rob Chevez. Rob started this, what used to be called CAZA Investor Network, and we changed to Grid Investor a couple of years ago, to expand our footprint around the world. And what started 10 years ago as Rob talking to a couple of people, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, Rob and me talking to a couple of people, is now a group. We're kind of sort of theoretically international. We have a friend of ours who works outside of Vancouver, Canada. But we're now a national group of over 20,000 investors who kind of do the kind of things that we do, the way that we do it, getting together, talking about what we do. Bookie's in the back there with all of our books and tapes for sale. Absolutely not. We have no books, we have no tapes, we have no schemes. No books, no tapes, no schemes. It's just people talking about how real estate investing works for them and what it does for them. It's done a ton for me. I hope and believe that it will be able to do a ton for all of you as well. So that's why we do this. And tonight's topic, dream team, networking, building kind of your sphere of contacts that you'll need in the business, is a good one. Because, spoiler alert, that's kind of what we're doing this for, right? We want to get in conversations with as many people as possible because that's where a lot of our business comes from. That's where my deals come from. I run a construction company. That's where all my construction business comes from. Rob runs an agent team. That's where a lot of his agent business comes from. You'll see we have a couple of, I think, CAZA plants in the room tonight from our team. But the way this works is we talk about our thing, and it's a different topic every month. It's usually the first Tuesday, but if we're doing it on Wednesday this month so that we could meet here instead of in our regular office environment. So I just want to say thanks very much to our hosts here at the Lake Ann Coffee House and Wine Bar. And please, that bar is open, by the way, so you've got tables somewhere to put a drink down. I encourage you to maybe get one. All the food here is also wonderful, so whether it's tonight or some other time, please stop by. This is a great place. In our backyard, as I said, we are the Reston chapter, but we now have chapters as far down as Florida, as far west as Washington State, who get together once a month to talk about something in real estate investing. In the first couple of months of this year, we talked a little bit about, that's me, I'll make that stuff. We talked at the beginning of the year about kind of how we find deals and how we market for deals and how wholesaling works and how we talk to motivated sellers, which is really what we're looking for, by the way. Don't let anybody think, oh, I'm just looking for a deal. There's no such thing as a deal. I don't know if anyone's been on the MLS lately or any of the regular listing services looking for deals on the market. Not super easy, right? We don't find deals, we find people we can help. So that's part of the conversation that we've been having. Tonight's is again about people, but it's not just the people that we help, but it's people that we work with and that we help because they help us. So I have a few people tonight that are going to come up and maybe talk a little bit with me. In fact, why don't we just do that now? I'll get everybody up front and we'll all say hello right quick. Ali, why don't you come on up front? Ali Bavar with the CAZA Group. Ali.
Hey everybody.
Introduce yourself. Say hello.
Hello, my name is Ali. I work with Mark and Rob at the CAZA Group. We run a local real estate team here. We are all over, DC area, all the way from Maryland, DC, and we do a lot in Virginia as well. We started out here in Reston. I personally live and just focus in Reston a lot more. I have the privilege of overseeing some parts of the sales in our company. So through that, we see a lot that we're going to share kind of our experience on what we see in the marketplace and systems that we put in place to make our sellers make more money, make our buyers save money.
Excellent. We will talk more about that, so thank you very much for being here tonight. Mr. Coleman, woo! Come on up. Coleman, everybody. Introduce yourself. Say hello.
How's it going, everybody? Good to see everyone tonight. My name is Coleman Bales. I work for McLean Mortgage, and so I do a lot of business with the CAZA Group, Mark and Rob and the whole gang. So we work closely together. I've been investing in real estate myself for the past 2 years, partnering on various deals, and talking to Mark about partnering on some deals together.
Yep.
So,
Active investor yourself.
Absolutely.
You've done rehab, so we'll get into that bit of it.
And a rock star guitar player.
Oh, I forgot to bring it. I should have brought it out.
A couple more beers, maybe you never know what happens.
Never know.
Who else can I pick on? I need a property management representative. I know John is here, Thomas is here.
Fist fight.
No, we'll rotate. Thomas, you love speaking in public. No, Rob, what is that, a martini?
This is a bees.
Bring it up here. We're gonna do that too. Shut it out. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me from here?
Thanks so much. This one's a Coke, by the way. It's probably something else, but don't pay any attention to that. All right. Yeah, no, seriously, dude, come on.
It's a small room. Like I can just hang out.
Who are you?
Thomas Price, Home Pro Property Management. One of two property managers. John's another one, kicks butt in the Nova area, and we manage about 55 units right now. I used to run Rob's ops and finances of Rob's real estate team for 7 or 8 years before making the jump and starting property management.
Super. So, we'll pick your brain about some property managing kind of stuff. But before we get into them, since we have just an intimate enough room that we can go around the room and let ourselves introduce one another, we like to kind of do that too, because this is more than anything else a networking. Talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about. But then after we're done talking, we'll hang out for a little bit. And spoiler alert, that's where you make your money, right? Talking to other people about the business, what you do, and figuring out how you can help people. So we'll get into more of that in a second. But why don't we start with just a couple of introductions. Coming straight here to the front, lady. On the couch. Hi, how are you? Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dee. I know very little about the real estate investing, and I'm hoping that I will learn more tonight.
Awesome. That's why we're here. Well, glad to see you. Hello, Vinny.
Hi everybody. I'm Kimberly Salama, and I'm new to real estate investing, but not new to real estate. I've done commercial work, some facilities management work. I'm in corporate, and I'm trying to get away from. So ready to retire corporate and work in this full time. So I'm working towards that. So I've got a chance to do just a little bit. I've got a P&L deal that I'm working with in Florida, and then I have a deal that I got in Maryland for a flip. So this is all just happening in the last like 2 months. So I'm just working this that stuff. Get involved. Nice to see everybody.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thanks.
Say hello.
Alright, my name's Rob Levin. New to all this, just getting started, and really just following my very smart, lovely wife, who's much more knowledgeable about all this. So, trying to learn the ropes.
Well, that was quite the introduction.
Yeah,
Smart lady in the room.
Hi, my name is Marina. I am a new real estate investor. I am in a corporate role right now, trying to get out of it and just, be my own boss and make this my own thing.
Welcome.
My name is Nora. I am a realtor since 2015, and I wanted to be involved, but something else came up, so I can't. But I started to look for properties for sale, and I found for sale motivated sellers. They are motivated. Their situation motivates them to sell, but numbers are not working on that. I don't have the money. I need investors, and also I need to understand how to work the first part of the investment, because what we learned in class that we work, you do the contract and then you assign, and that way you protect yourself. But it is difficult right now in my real world to have that, because I see the property, I see a lot of farm, but I need investors to come and do the numbers. I have an idea, but I am not sure. So what if I bring investors and it's still my potential seller? So that is the thing that I'm doing. Not a lot.
Cool. Well, welcome. Hey. Say hello.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Tim. I'm a investor. I'm here tonight to try to find
I got both of those for you.
Well, we saw it.
Let's talk.
I got a guy. So we need to know.
This is on the WT. Let's do it. Like, let's get to work.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
Sign here.
Don't forget to connect.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a real estate and I am investing. I am I was looking for pockets throughout the looking for vacation, short-term rentals. And I'm trying to partner up with a friend/client. A little nervous about that.
I work with most of my friends, or most of the people I work with are. It usually works. It's fine. Most of them are still friends. Almost always works 100% of the time. Yes, sir. Hello. Yeah.
my name is John. I contracting we work with property management companies for investors doing large scale construction, all the way down to the smallest thing possible. As well as trying to streamline maintenance and make your life hopefully easier. So I think it's life easier.
Contracted big part of the dream team. Might want to move your chair a little closer to the front. We'll be coming back. Hi. Say hello.
Hi there. My name is Joy. My first grade meetup meetings.
They're all like this.
I started my real estate investing journey December. I bought a country house in Virginia, about an hour away. Renovated and now it's on Airbnb. Going smoothly so
Nice.
far. I live and work in
Excellent. Well, welcome. Good to see you. I recognize that face. What's up, Sloan?
Hey there. I'm Sloan. I'm a investing realtor.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. John, what's happening, boss?
Not much. Thank you, Mark. My name is John Malafesta. I'm the owner of PMI Fairfax. So we do residential and commercial management. I'm also a personal investor, own about a dozen properties all throughout Virginia. And so I actively invest with the investors.
Manage a couple properties for us. Keep my eviction rates to 0. Good job.
We haven't kicked anybody out in 3 years. That has been COVID, but
The fact that maybe you could only see one.
That's a good positive spin.
honestly, we don't kick many people out, and that's good news. But all legwork's in the beginning. Treat them right. You might have some damage. Hey, but it's fixable. Construction company. But the good news is if you do have somebody not and not next time. So that whole process of getting updated again changed during COVID. Now we're back to the normal way, if you will. The funds were
You got some money for some people one time in town.
Twice.
Yeah. What's the most amount you've gotten for any one?
It's the same person.
Yeah.
Which is why, unfortunately, we are having to. I have not placed them.
Yeah.
But
What was the dollar?
$28,000.
$28,000 for one land.
18 months in this room.
It's a good program. Good land. Well, thanks. We'll come back to you guys, maybe chat about that. Michelle, say hello.
I'm Michelle Hennell, so I'm a local real estate agent after 4 years, but started software companies, products and digital marketing. And I grew up in the area. And this year, business is blooming, and I think there's a higher power out there because they're all buy and hold investors. So I've been running hard and fast trying to keep up with those guys, and about March, so fun for you guys. I was like, Rob, I could really use a webinar on making me a better investor agent. Got something coming for you.
We actually do have some.
I signed up for that, and they're all making me jealous to buy my own property. My brother has a lake, I think it's called a lake house, Airbnb, and next year, so this year has been all about investors, so I am trying to get myself in the thick of it.
Good. You're in the right place. Maybe a couple of those.
Well, I need a handyman, contractor, and a business, so I'm trying. Right now, it is perfect. I have to remind you.
All of those people are here tonight. We got you set.
Hi, I'm Emily Palmieri. This is my first grid meeting. It's my first investor meeting. It's my first everything going. I am a real estate agent in the area. I recently moved to DC, so my business is focused in DC, but licensed in DC and Virginia. I'm looking to actually move more into investing. And I'm excited to be here.
Glad to have you. All right, so I think we're to the men and women in black at the back of the It's almost it's like, what's the theme? What could the theme possibly be?
We got one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we've got one in the front. Well, all right. Isn't sure. Let's say hello.
Hi, I'm Jenny Stroop. I'm the director of CAZA Group, so I focus on agent on attraction and events for our team. And I'm also at the top group. You will see me.
All right, Mike, you're hard to see. Start say hello.
I'm an agent with CAZA Group. I'm also an investor. I started investing a little bit before I got licensed. I realized all I want to do is real estate, so now I need a full-time job. Yeah, I work with a lot of investors, residential clients as well.
Cool. Always looking for new clients, right? Under pressure, since you just walked in, I'm going to make you say hello. Hi. Say hi. How are you?
Hi, my name is Sophia.
That's all I have to do. Excellent. So give us as much as you want about where you are in real estate, what you're looking for.
So, yeah, I'm an investor. I have a job also. I have done projects and I'm working on my fourth project. Looking for rentals, now passive income.
Pretty couple in the back. Say hello.
So I'm Daniel Nice. We still engage couple work with us. We're realtors. It's a 2-for-1 deal. I'll do anything anywhere in Virginia, but I specialize in Pennsylvania County. Anything I don't have.
I like that. Are you just going to go ditto, or is you get to...
Yeah, same when you said. Learn Ali was speaking tonight.
Don't let Daniel take all the oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be talking about them every day.
Only two. And Thomas.
Scholar, say hello.
Hi, I'm Skylar. Just introducing for me, but hi, I'm Skylar. I'm an agent with Reston, CAZA as well, and I work very closely with him. It's been a pleasure. I'm learning a lot from him, so I'm just helping him with all the construction side of things, design and scheduling.
And we're always looking for deals and people we can partner with on stuff. So if anyone has anything that they think they might want to talk about, see Scott. We'll chat it up. See if we can get it done. Hooks, say what's up.
What's up?
Yeah.
I'm Cookie of the CAZA Group as well, real estate agent for 18 years in Virginia. I'm licensed in Maryland as well, and I'm here to network with more investors, learn more about investing.
Unfortunately, she's also super mean, but other than that, you want to be the nicest agent you'll ever meet. That's your bookie. Hello, Janae. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janae. I'm an agent with CAZA Group. Licensed in Maryland, Virginia, but I'm mainly working with a lot of developers. I'm just here to network with people.
Good to see you. I don't know if somebody's coming in, sir. We have some seats. We've got, there's one over there. I know there's drinks in front of it. As long as you don't drink the drink, you can sit in that one. Or there's a seat here. Or we have some very comfortable seating up here. Over here. Somebody.
We have to get it down.
And we have other seats, I think, over here on the side. Okay, so that's everybody. I guess we're 100% done. Yeah, waiting for the sip. Is that champagne? The lender is here, everyone, having champagne. Who are you, miss?
coming to Reston CAZA since 2015. And the reason is, besides, of course, the amazing charisma of Beckett and the rest of, and Rob and the rest of the team, I have found that no matter how much you know about real estate, how much of it you do, you're constantly needing to network because you need more people, you need new people, different people. And I have found some of my best contractors, title people, and my properties. I started real estate in 1983, so I've done a little of literally everything. But I found that about a third of my properties come from wholesalers, a third come from real estate agents, and a third I find myself. So there's no such thing as not, if you want to succeed, you just have to do one go there. And this is one of the best places.
Without having to talk about that. So you will get to explain how money works. Okay, that's everybody. Well, thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
We keep moving on this rate.
We're just starting it. So that was not all just vamping and killing for time. As Teresa correctly pointed out, it is the point of these kinds of things. You heard we have agents in the room, we have property managers in the room, we have lenders in the room, we have contractors in the room. Everyone comes to these kinds of things trying to find business and people they can work with. It's just that easy. If you leave here tonight only having talked to the person you're sitting next to, it's fine. But if you leave tonight having talked to even just 3 or 4 other people that maybe you didn't know when you got here, you will be so much farther ahead than most anyone else in this business. I can't quite emphasize it enough. People will take you farther than money ever. Our business exists with and through the people that we know and that we work with. And of all of the people in your group, in your sphere, in your network, in your Rolodex, 90% of them hopefully are people that you do work with and know and like and have had some transactional experience with. But I would argue probably 10% of them are what we call the superstars, who are repeat offenders of things that you get into business and trouble with, right? There are going to be those people in your life and in your business that just have an outsized impact on your business. Your job then is to find that 10% and never let those people go. There are people who are natural attractors and givers of stuff, information, deals, helpfulness, whatever. We try to hopefully be that with what we do. But you find those people, hold on to them for dear life because they will be a source of business. And the way then that you find those people, be that person, right? It's amazing how karma works. You give and give and give with no expectation whatsoever of a return, and surprise, surprise, you get something. I think that probably works for things other than just real estate, right? I think that's probably a thing that we can all maybe say we've had some experience with in places other than business stuff, but it works in business to just help people. Try this to say, what can I do to help you in your business? Do more, be more, get bigger, and it comes back to you tenfold. So that's what we do. So
I think that's also Jenny did the video right, so
well,
relax.
That's all right. The Facebook people will figure it all out. Everybody wants to say anything rude while Rob's parents are able to see it. I've stolen and hijacked Rob Chevez's Facebook page, so anything that happens on here is really on him and not on me. Hello, Chayo. I'm sure she's watching. But yeah, so that's kind of why we do it. It's relatively selfish, but it works. So these people that I have up here and that have shown up here in other parts of the room that we've done a fair amount of business with kind of do things the way that we do. So since I know you guys like to share, let me just kind of dive in and start talking about the sharing. We have an agent, a lender, a property manager, a hard money person here tonight. Those are all people. What else is in our sphere of people that people need to know?
I mean, when you're starting out, you definitely are valuing agents, contractors, a good lender. Eventually, you need a hard money lender. You're gonna need a CPA. As you get more complex in your investing, then if it's not just residential, then you might need more contacts. You might need more people. So off the top of my head, I think it's just CPAs.
CPA and accountants are good. CPAs and accountants talk to a lot of people that have money and a few of them that have real estate. So if you need one, ask around. Oh, by the way, quick plug for the group, those who aren't already in it. Facebook is a closed Facebook group under Grid Investors. If you go on the old Facebook and look under groups, search for Grid Investor. There's only one. You have to ask to be let in. We can provide like 5 or 6 forms of ID. Actually, none. It is absolutely free, but we do make people check in because if anybody gets spammy and nasty, we can kick them out. Therefore, it's not spammy and nasty. It's just a bunch of people who talk about real estate and are looking for CPAs, contractors, and lenders, and attorneys. So if you haven't already joined, I highly recommend that you do that because it'd be a good place to find your CPA.
And once I got a traffic ticket. And I was talking to Rob. I'm like, man, we can't. I forgot what ticket it was, but yeah, it was that. So I'm like, man, who can I get to solve this? He's like, go on the Grid Facebook page. There's a bunch of attorneys there. Just ask. That's literally solved the problem.
You'd be surprised what you can get. But yeah, CPAs are good because they know people with money, and so if I'm looking for people who can help fund my projects. Do you know anybody who's a high net worth individual that might be interested in something on the way of an investment that's backed by a hard asset like real estate? If so, I can tell them what I'm about. Get an introduction to people. Surprise, you may be able to find somebody that's got some money that can partner with you or lend it to you or help you do your deals. So CPA is a great resource. It should be in your Rolodex. They should probably be helping you try to dodge all of our taxes from all the money that you make anyway. Pay your fair share, but have somebody help you decide what that fair share is going to be. So that's a good one. Coleman, how about you? Who else? And we'll come back to what you do also, but in addition to lending, anyone else off the top of your head that you think people ought to know as an investor?
Yeah.
An investor hat on.
Yeah, I mean, so you need your agent, you need a good lender, you need a good property manager, you don't want to manage properties, you need a good contractors, you need properties, CPAs, nice. You need to find a deal somewhere, so maybe a good wholesaler.
Good wholesalers are definitely high up on the list. And for those who don't know what wholesaling is the act of signing your contract rights to someone else for a fee. I've put a property under contract, and I've asked Ali, would you be interested in buying this house? It needs a little bit of work. Here's what I think it's probably going to be worth. I'm asking $300,000 for it. Would you be interested?
Yeah, let's do it.
Correct. So if he's interested, and I have a property under contract for $295,000, and he thinks it's worth $300,000, there's $5,000 in transactional value there that you can extract by just assigning your contract rights to someone else. I've got it, but you can close on it and buy it. Pay me the $5,000 in insurance. A couple of pieces of paper and a couple. Only go out and try to find deals, put them under contract, and then just sell them to other investors. They get paid for that hard work of talking to other people, finding those motivated sellers, telling them, I know people who can help you. Price, if you like it, great. Sell it to another investor. They close on it. They renovate it. They make their money. They do the thing.
Can I add something on the wholesaling piece? Yeah. I think a lot of investors initially when they started, especially if you want to flip, right? You are networking with a lot of agents, right? Or maybe one, and you're saying, hey, can you find me a property? And in the beginning of my career, when I had nothing else to do, that was really exciting. Let me see what I can do for you. But it's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's really got to be your full-time focus and attention. So I have some of my best friends are just doing like flipping properties for a living, right? As an agent, eventually, when I find the deal, I'm gonna bring it to somebody. I'm gonna partner in it, right? I'm not just gonna sell it as an agent. I want to be a partner in it. That's what the smart agent would do, right? So as an investor, what you want to do is network with all the wholesalers. You want to get to know all of them. You want to be on their email list, on their when they find the property, you want to know about it. So what I tell my friends was like, do you have a property? I'm like, where a good agent can add value in the flip process. But finding the property, if you're relying on an agent to do that for you, you're leaving so much money on the table. You're just waiting for somebody to get lucky.
How about this one? Title. You know any good title companies? There you go. We do. We got a guy. And title companies can be vastly helpful. We tell people like if you're going to wholesale, probably ought to do at least a soft pull on title so that you can see if the person that says they have the right to sell you a house for $300,000 and that pays everybody off. Make sure that it actually is going to pay everybody off before you go to sell your deal or buy it yourself and do it. Title companies are immensely valuable before you've actually closed on your investment property, and of course to get you to the closing title work, the title insurance as a buyer, to coordinate between buyers and sellers, to be a fiduciary to hold the money. If you're wholesaling, to maybe hold the assignment fee and then have that assignment fee distributed to you. If you're the contractor getting paid at a closing for a thing, to make sure that you get paid. They do a lot of work. They meet a lot of people who do what we do, and they can be a great resource also for deals, right? Every once in a while, title guys like, oh yeah, I know a guy who's working on a thing and the thing blew up. Anybody's looking for something that's got to close pretty quickly. I know a thing. We've gotten those calls before. So title companies are immensely integral to that type of thing, in my opinion. Right? Well, since we're already talking, what do we need to know about in the lending space as a real estate investor? You do fairly traditional lending, right? What's your space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do understand your performing loans, conventional loans. I do FHA loans, folks that are working on their credit with certain niche circumstances that make more sense. I do VA loans for veterans. I do jumbo loans for people that want a really big mortgage. Yeah, so when you're using jumbo loan, like for a conventional loan, you're using it to buy a home you want to live in as a primary residence. You can also buy investment properties. So it depends what kind of investment property you want to buy as to what's going to make sense. Because I mean, if you're just buying something off the market, it's going to cash flow well. Maybe you see it's got a potential to turn into an Airbnb, and you want to live off that kind of income. Awesome. That's absolutely one that we'd love to help you. So we'll talk about that once in that position. Other folks are looking to buy homes from those wholesalers we're talking about. Other motivated individuals, folks that need their homes sold quickly. And oftentimes you'll find that is a trend that you come across finding undervalued. When I'm lending money, the purchase price. So if you're buying something for $200 grand, I can lend you a certain percentage of that $200 grand. Whereas with a wholesaler, or excuse me, a hard money lender, you can speak to this more so, but my understanding is that it's more of like you're talking about an after repair value, going back and forth on what that value is, what your plans are, how you're going to get to that, what it's going to cost. It's a little bit of gray area. The rate's going to be higher. It is what it is, but it's not permanent financing. So if you're trying to do a value add, oftentimes that's where hard makes sense.
Well, I appreciate your forthcomitude in that, because that is generally the experience that most folks have. That it's not super easy to get your original loan for a property that needs a significant amount of renovation. ready type of loans. Still take a little bit of time to fully underwrite, right? Your buyer gets fully underwritten, right? Your typical income statements, tax returns, all that good stuff, right? We can talk about it in a second, but that's typically not part of the process with private lending, right? Which is why it is so attractive and necessary a lot of times in the investing space for time purposes. But if what you're doing is a buy and hold, which we recommend everyone do that has the ability to do it, you're not going to want to keep that private money out in most cases for too terribly long. It has its time and its place, but it's typically not meant to be long term. But what you really would like to have is a nice 30-year amortized Fannie Freddie loan, and you can do those all day long, right?
Absolutely. So, a lot of times the question is, do I buy the property? Like, sometimes when I'm looking at a property, this is my methodology is like, okay, where's the value? Is there value in it? Can value be like, is it a value add proposition? A certain amount of work, it's going to work more. Like, is there value in the field? That's deciding whether or not you want to buy it. So you buy it, you renovate the thing, you do all your analysis, figure out what it would actually rent for. And, what are interest rates at? You start crunching those numbers and decide, does this make sense long term rental? And so if not, flip the thing, make your money, churn and retrieve. Some people, that's all they do all day long. Properties, that's their job. It's a full-time job for sure. Other folks, they finish up the flip, and a lot of times they see it like, buy a property, but it's like, I'm gonna buy it, do this value add, and it's going to cash flow very well after. So you convert that private money, the hard money, whatever short-term financing you use to prepare it into the 30-year loan that you're going to hold on to for 30 years. So let the tenant pay off.
Tenant pay, that's beautiful
I'm
thing.
a
Yeah.
realtor, not a lender. However, I've had a great learning experience, so I don't know. But I would also add, as I look around, it's a very multicultural group. And the clients I've had this year are anything but American born right now. Lots of cash in any country other than the United States. And so for them to do a loan here, they do something called non-conforming asset-based loans. And that's a whole different ballgame and a different kind of lender. And it can be done. And of course, they're going to pay a higher rate until they choose to pay it off just to purchase the properties. But I missed the closing date an hour prior to. They can do it based on non-conforming private equity, the non-conforming, it's not going to solve anything right back. So how is it valued based on assets that aren't here in the States? And I venture to guess that they want to run into it because it's a very diverse area.
Absolutely. I will say, like on that topic, there's a lot of niche products out there. Asset division, bank statement loans. There's loans based off of cash flow. Two cash flow sometimes. But the reason why people try to gravitate back towards the Fannie Freddie conventional loans is that you're going to get the best rates typically that way. So yeah, there are those niche products, like I said. And some folks, one problem is if you really get going and you get 10 properties, Fannie and Freddie will allow you to buy 10 investment properties. But once you pass that 10th property, you buy 11, past that. At that point, start looking into different products, like the cash flow loan that I talked about. It only looks at how much rent's coming in and what's the mortgage payment. Is the cash flow with some percentage? Cool, good to go. But like I said, the rate's going to be higher at that point. A lot of other banks, if you talk to a specific local bank or credit union, the conventional ones have better rates.
Rates are going to be headed like straight back down to the basement, right? No. All right. Just crystal ball it for what are we in?
Yeah, so I mean, the Fed's talked about pricing 2 more 50 basis point hikes. That's everybody knows that. Just recently they mentioned that they're going to kind of like reevaluate things into September. So as of right now, we're hoping things kind of plateau. Time we're watching news on what's going to happen after September. yeah, so I mean, again, they are still upwards trending. I would say that they're, if I were to pull out my crystal ball, they're not going to be trending upwards at the same rate they have. They're awakening to a lot of us.
What was the last investor second property loan that you wrote? What was the rate on?
So I actually checked the rates on investment properties like before I came here, and so I saw like if you have perfect credit and you put 20% down, you can probably get like 6.125, where it's going to cost you like probably close to 2 points. So
6125 with 2 points.
almost 2 points.
Yeah.
So if you put the thing is if you go to 25%, I mean it's going to be the same rate with no points. So it's the more you put down on investment properties has a big impact on the rate you get. People don't realize you could actually put.
Where do you get your next loan? Okay, well, that's not. Thank you very much. By the way, this is an interactive discussion. If you have a question, just raise your hand or even start shouting. Sometimes shouting over me is necessary. But yes, anytime for anyone.
I do. I'm curious about if you traditionally have a 90-day seasoning when a refinance.
Great question. So FHA has 90 days. Yes, non-conventional. So are you talking about something that's like
Cash out?
No, regular refinance is what I want to. I'm deciding whether I want to be put this in, hold it for a short-term rental.
Right.
And so if I have to refi, I was talking to season. Everything have to get seasoned for 90 days. I have to
Put
hold
it- Right. Put a tenant in it. How long after a paying tenant is in the house can someone come to you and say, "Hey, give me regular good old fashioned"?
So just make sure I understand, right? So you bought property with is it conventional?
It's a hard money lender.
Oh,
So it's an interest only until it's complete. And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
so you don't have to worry about seasoning for a rate term refinance. So if you just pull the money in like right at the loan amount you have right now, it's not a problem for section non seasoning refinance. If you wanted to pull out additional cash, so you purchase it with like you buy whatever kind of financing you want, conventional or money or something. If you want to pull out more money than you initially borrowed, you can do a cash out refinance. It's a 6-month season. So you should be able to just do a rate term refinance.
If you can take out no more than what you already have on in debt, and that's even if it's a private loan with another random individual.
Yeah.
The rate and term still counts. If you have any loan with anyone, does it have to be like a recorded first position kind of thing? Like what constitutes a loan or rate and term refi?
But you have a first and a second.
Oh, okay.
On
Yeah.
the,
Yeah. So I mean, that. Yeah. You should be able to do a rate term refinance. I'll double check on that.
Okay.
You're not pulling out additional.
Yeah. My experience has been 6 months. So get the money wherever you have to get it, for the length of time it takes both to renovate and get a paying tenant in, and establish a 6-month history of tenancy and have your reserves and have the other stuff. Then you can go to your traditional lending source and say, "Hey, cash me out of this thing. Take money out, do whatever you do." 6 months has been the answer I've always gotten. So, you should know if I can do it faster.
Yeah. As long as you don't pull out.
All right, we'll be talking. Thomas will make me alone. I'll rate and term it out. What do you do for people, Thomas? How do you earn your? What are you getting now? 18%, 25%? What's the property manager charging these days?
4, right? What's what you're asking? What a property manager is?
I'm asking you to justify your existence.
I don't know if I can do that. I mean,
Well, what do you do in the investor space?
Everything that basically makes it hands off for the investor, right?
Yeah.
So the property man, everybody's sort of I get into a lot of debates about like, oh, do you do stock investing, portfolio investing, or do you go into real estate? And I argue all day that real estate's obviously the best. Of course, I'm in it, so maybe I have a vested interest. But so basically, we make it hands off. So pretty much everything, with us being the only exception being paying the actual mortgage, I find that that's super important. So I don't know if you guys pay the mortgage yourselves, but for us, pretty much everything that comes except for paying the mortgage. So repairs come in, inspections, obviously new leases, marketing the home, cleaning up the home, getting repairs taken care of, and I mean HOA fees, HOA regulations, pretty much anything and everything you can think of, with the exception of actually paying the mortgage. I find it super important, and most people truly don't really want to let go of that anyways. It affects your credit, it affects every area of your life in so many different ways when your credit potentially went bad. So pretty much anything aside from that, and then in the area I can tell a little bit about rates.
Yes. How much?
Yeah, so the way that I sort of describe it is because I'm a weirdo and I put everything in categories. So there's sort of three categories, areas where a property manager would get paid. So the first one is pretty straightforward, the leasing fee. You have a new or an empty property, it's vacant, you can find somebody, put in there. You need to charging 1 month's rent, so the first month's rent. I pretty much find that with very little exceptions. There are some big boy property management companies that actually charge based on the length of the lease. So if you get a 24-month lease, they might charge you a month and a half to 2 months to sort of make up for that. But for the most part, 1 month. Second category, your management fee. This is where everybody focuses on. The thing that comes to mind when you think about the cost of a property manager. And again, I find that most people in the area, when it comes to a long-term rental, around 8% in our area. You might have the other areas outside of the DMU get maybe closer to 10, but for us, 8% is pretty typical. Now that doesn't necessarily include short-term rentals. Short-term rentals is a completely different game. So short-term rentals, you're looking at between 20 and 25%. Obviously not paying the 1 month up front. When you do the math, the 1 month up front on a 1 year lease and the 8% brings you close to like 16% as a year sort of cost. But then when you look at the short-term rentals, it's 20-25%. And then you got the final category being ancillary fees. So eviction fees, changing out keys, or accounting fees at the end of the year to send it to the IRS. There's 1,000 things can fall into that category. And obviously, we're going to get just as much variation. For us, for the time being, we don't charge ancillary fees. Probably something we'll add in the future.
Do you use attorneys as needed for eviction kind of things?
I mean, we handle it as much in-house as possible. Obviously, if things go completely out of left field and get a little crazy, you got to do what you got to do. But for the most part, it's in-house. You're talking about the 1%. And evictions, John said it earlier, screening is everything. If you screen the person on the front end, you do the work, you're doing your reference checks, you're taking your reference checks seriously, you don't have to worry about most of that extra stuff. Up until, John mentioned this as well, but up until May 15th is when the VA grant money sort of ran out. Fairfax County's still offering it for things like Alexandria City, just following the April 15th or the May 15th, so that's not necessarily available there anymore. But yeah.
Thank you. Since you mentioned it, Johnny, how about you? You got an attorney?
Yeah.
You got a guy?
Three.
Good person to know is the guy who's got an attorney. If you need one, my guess is the attorney that you do know have had to deal with their fair share of squirrely stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Give me one goofy story. Just one. Just one.
Well, I didn't get went to put in, and the owner was tired of the bunch. They're like, well, we also just want to sell it. So we like 3 or 4 months. That's why we do it. The management contract, leases were written in such a way that if we went to eviction, we wouldn't know who to sue. We did not know who owned the property, who managed the property, who the landlord of the property, or who managed the property. So that's something to keep in mind. As a property manager, I do not recommend the property manager sign your leases. You you should be as the owner signing the lease, and then the property manager can bring suit on your behalf. The problem with this particular one was property managers, which makes them the landlord. They don't own the property. How can somebody who does not own the property bring it? It wasn't like the manager bring suits. How can somebody who doesn't own the property bring suit? Makes it very, very difficult. So that's why contract reviews, your management contract, leases, we basically got what it is, put on letter costs. We're not trying to outthink Virginia when it comes to leasing. That's what we're talking about.
We are LTA is.
Virginia landlord tenant tax. Reviewed every January. Richmond area, down there, they update every 6 months to reflect what is the actual. When something goes off left field, you bring leases as PRL.
So, all good stuff. I heard a bunch of stuff in there. Help you make sure you've got good tenants, check them out, make sure they're taking care of your place. I haven't stepped foot in a rental unit in years. Probably that's not a great admission, but I haven't because somebody else does. Deals with people when they don't want to pay. Be the bad guy when you don't want to. I'm also a terrible bad guy. So,
I'm sorry, the owner told me.
do what you gotta do. Really, all of that was wah on the back after I heard you say no investors who are selling their properties.
Yeah, we had quite a few sell properties this year. Most went what I call a conventional sale, where they just sold on the market. We had a couple that were investors with investor sales.
Imagine that, right? Somebody else that you know that's doing a thing for you knows other people who do what you do and might know where you can get a deal. Not part of the deal, right? This is all one big glorious circle. I would like to bring Coleman people who need money. I'd like to bring Ali people who need to sell houses. I'd like to bring Thomas people who need those houses managed. And then while we're talking about, hey, know anybody that's got something they might want to sell? Ask enough people, every once in a while, one of them says, yeah, actually, I do, right? That is how this works. Give and get, give and get. Give more than you get, but if you give and you try to bring business to other people, and while you're talking to them about it, hey, by the way, this is what I'm looking for. I renovate houses for people, so if you ever need anybody to have a house fixed up before it goes on the market so they can spend the least amount of money and sell it for the most, I can probably help with that. Put that bug in everybody's ear that you work with. Anyone you give money to, Rob has a good story about this, about his first boss. He was in the insurance business, and called every single person he ever gave money to and required them to buy insurance with him to get his business. His dry cleaner, his car detailer, if he gave that person money, they had to buy something from him. You don't have to necessarily be that dramatic, but that's how this works, right? That's how business works. That's why people do the B&I thing. You might ever heard of B&I? They meet at like ungodly hours in the morning and talk about this stuff. You only have one person from every industry, and they all sit around the table and say, okay, cool.